Hey guys, Techman here, also known as Matthew Rivera, and today I'm not going to be doing a reaction video or a very typical type of video that I always post, but this one is very unusual because it involves my Mac. I upgraded the RAM, which you can touch the card on either side. I think it's this side. And I've upgraded the RAM from 4 gigs to 32 gigs. And today I am finally glad to announce that I'm actually going to be upgrading the CPU from an i5 2.7 gigahertz i5 processor to a Intel Core i7 2600S. And I'm very excited and also very nervous because I actually never ever broke down a computer this deep before to replace or upgrade the CPU, as I got some heatsink or thermal paste. So here is the game plan for this video. Yes, it is going to be a little bit longer than usual, and I am going to be following a video that somebody has already did, and it's going to be in the card right here. You can either follow that or follow this one. I just wanted to make this video because I just want to make proof that I actually done this and I can actually do it and everybody else can enjoy it. And if I do make mistakes or anything, of course I will say it, but this one, majority of the time, is going to be live commentary, which is, as you can see, there's no microphone or anything, it's just straight up phone audio. So throughout this video, I'm going to be using tools, and of course the tools that I use is going to be in the description box below. So if you want to do this yourself, you can always pick those up. Now, I want to mention something, is that this processor right here is renewed and pre-owned. This is not new at all, and if it doesn't work, I will show y'all if it doesn't work. Now, this is super important to do. Please don't forget this. Back up your computer no matter what. I literally have a terabyte hard drive filled with my life. This is my life right here, is my terabyte hard drive. I have my YouTube stuff in here, gaming channel, vlogging channel, the links will be in the description box below, self-promo. And I have my school stuff in here, which is my lifeline. So guys, that's basically it for my precautions and what we're going to do in this video. So enough of me talking, I already talked enough, let's jump right into this. Something is that these models, the mid-2011, are known to get really hot and when they're in use. I just turned mine off about maybe an hour and 30 minutes ago-ish, right around there, and it is still a little bit warm, but it's cool to the touch, like I can actually touch it. So make sure your computer is actually cool enough. Now, everything is disconnected from the Mac, and I feel like it is worth mentioning is that all these things have capacitors, and capacitors store energy, and of course they drain over time, but it's very slowly. So what you can do is that when you unplug everything and the power as well, what you can do is just press the power button a few times and hold it, touch it a few times, keep pressing it, and that will sort of release all the energy from the capacitors and whatever is holding electricity, so you don't have to get shocked. If you are worried about your workspace being scratched or anything, place like a rubber mat or some kind of anti-static or electric mat, because static or electricity can short out components, and you definitely do not want that. I got this kit from Oria. O-R-I-A. I got this kit about 2 to 3 years ago. This is mainly for like computer things, and it's really cool. I want to note is that in this kit, it actually comes with one suction cup, and I don't have another suction cup. So basically, this is very easy to pry with fingernails from the top, and the glass is held by magnets. So you have to tug a little bit, but of course it'll pop, and then you pull and you lift. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so basically it's pried open. I had to be really careful just in case this doesn't shatter or anything. Now, we have it out like this. All you do is lift and you're good. And place this somewhere that it's not going to break or collect dust or anything like that. So now we got the glass off, and up next is that we're going to be needing a T10 hex screw, I guess you can call it. It's a T10. And then you'll need needle nose pliers because of the magnets. When you unscrew it, the magnets sort of like stick to the magnet. I've had these needle nose pliers for a while. This is from Workforce. So let's undo these screws. There are 4 on each side. See? So there's 4 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't forget to get the screws and try to get them all and count 4 screws each on each side. So that is 8 screws you need. Also, you can actually use needle nose pliers as well. So I have 3 types of pliers. One that is curvy, one that has like a rounded off edge, and one that is pointy. And yeah, so you can use these 2 as well. Okay, so I got all 4 screws on each side out, and that equals 8, which is right in my hand right here. And here's a very important tip too. Group every screw that belongs with the certain type of thing you unscrewed. It's all about organization, and as you all know, it's always bad to have screws left over. And I've had that happen to me multiple times, and of course I had to take apart everything and see what I missed and place those screws back, and then I'll have no screws back. So make sure you group everything for what belongs to what you unscrewed, if that makes sense. What you're going to do is that you're going to pull slightly, ever so slightly, because there's about 3 to 4 wires connected to the motherboard from this LCD. So don't go heave-ho on it, just take your time and be easy. Okay, so we pull, and as you can see, there are, let's focus here, there is 1, 2, 3 right there, right here, 3 right there, and there's 1 right there, too. So there's 4 cords in total here. So right here, be careful, just pull like this, like that. Okay, so we are pulling this out now because we disconnected everything. Pull up, and the LCD is out. And if your LCD is damaged or anything, that's how you take it out, and you can just do the reverse to place your new LCD. And same thing as the glass too. So place this where it's not going to get any dust or get scratched, damaged, or anything. Make sure it's very safe because I think this is pretty pricey. Okay, so I feel like we got to a stage that we can actually just lay this thing down. Right here with a Mid-2011, there's a RAM slot here, and there's 3 screws right here. And it's really cool that you just have to grab a Phillips head and unscrew these 3 screws and take out the RAM. There's 1, there's 2, and what you can do is that you can lift this up as well and hold it and unscrew the 3rd one. And this thing will pop out and it's filled with dust. Sweet. So you don't have to worry about losing the screws here because they have sort of these like not like lock washers that hold in the screws so they won't get lost. And there's these tabs here that you pull this way towards you, and this is the problem that I feel like I had before, that I was being too lenient, and you actually have to pull pretty hard to pop these out. So pull a little bit aggressive, but don't pull like that. You don't want to do that. Just be very careful on how you pull, and just give it ever so slightly force, like just give it enough for it to pop, and you release the tab and you can pull these RAMs out. So here comes the pop, like that. And both RAM sticks will come out. You'll hear like a simultaneous 2 pops or 2 clicks in a way, and they will come out and you can actually pull these out. There's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and here is 4. And as I said, I have 32 gigs of RAM in here, and it's very cool. I love it. It works very well with Pro Tools, and that's why I replaced it, because Pro Tools was running out of RAM, and I just did 32 gigs of RAM, which is cool. The next thing is that we're going to undo the hard drive here, and you're going to use again the T10 hex screw. I guess that's what it's called, a hex. And you unscrew these 2 right here, and you can lift this out and you unplug the power and SATA cable. Here's 1 screw, here is 2. So you can place these to the side. You pull up this way, like so, and you pull towards the wall or towards away from you, because they have these grommets here, like these little spokes of metal, and it's into these like rubber grommets in a way. So you pull that way, and then you unplug the power right here. You have to give it a little tiny wiggle, and the SATA cable, and you got your hard drive out. So next up is we're going to be undoing all of these cables here, every single one of them, and you have to take pictures. It's just you don't want to plug in the wrong thing with something else, or you have a wire missing that's under something and you have to disassemble everything to get it back again. And I just took some pictures with my S7, my old phone, so then when I'm putting this all back together, I can place it as it is before. So we're going to do all of these. So there is 3 here, 3 here, and then don't forget this one. This is 4. It's very tiny right here. There's 2 here, 1 here, and there is 2 somewhere right here where the fan is. So let's undo all of these wires here. So I'm just going to leave this thing here, this one right here, because I don't want to screw it up and it just feels impossible to get out. So I'm just going to leave that there until I can undo this, and then I can get to that. There's this one right here, which is pretty easy to get to. I unplugged this one. I think this one goes directly to the fan actually. So it's pretty easy to get to. Of course I have big fat hands. So I'm going to use these flat needle nose pliers, or needle pliers, I guess, whatever they're called, to sort of get a leverage on these connectors right here. This one's out, so I can pull it out. There you go. Okay, so this is sort of reminding me of a car with the 10mm we always use in using cars. So we're going to be using the T10 bit again, and we're going to remove this one, this one, this one. There's 2 of them down here. These, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one, to remove the optical drive, the fan, and just these screws in general here. There's 1 screw, 2, and there are differences in length, so be mindful of that. 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to remove this screw right here, which is the fan. There's 1. Now we're going to remove the 4 screws to hold the optical drive in, or the CD drive in. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there is 4. So now we can pull this out, since we already unplugged it from the tape here. And to mention, you have to remove it from the tape, this wire here, because you do unfortunately have to remove this. And remember how this wire is under this thing right here? Make sure you place it back when we're putting this all back together. Now there are little tiny like guides here, they're plastic, so what you want to do is pull out this way and up, and be careful because there are SATA cables here and power right in the back here. Pull that out if I can. There you go. And of course this comes out. Okay, now it is the fan, and the fan is just that easy, is that you pull up and there's that connector. So we're going to be very careful and undo it, and there it is. So we're going to grab our T10 bit again, the 10mm bit, but it's a T10 hex, and we're going to unscrew this screw right here and this screw right here that is under this circle. There's one, and here is the other. This one is small. Okay, so next thing is that we are going to undo this cable right here. It sticks to the motherboard, so we have to remove this out from the keyboard, or from the motherboard. We have to move this off to the side. And then there's also an IR chip right here, and this is what we unplugged here. And I removed the plug, but in the video the guy didn't remove the plug, so you just have to remove it upward, going up this way, and you have to remove this tape here. So we're going to pinch this, like so, and we're going to pull. It's going to be a little tough. There you go. Same thing as like these connectors, just use your fingernails, grab the edges, and just pull straight out. And we're going to carefully unstick this, and it goes along here. So we're going to place this up this way, and this gives us to the IR chip, and we can actually just remove this chip going upwards, right? But the problem is that we need to remove the tape here. So we're going to remove the tape. We're going to pull up on this IR chip right so, and it will come out like that, which is pretty cool, like so. And as you can see, this cable goes along this way and it stops right here. And I think it goes downwards more. We're going to be undoing the power supply, which is right here with this symbol. And we're going to be still using the T10 bit, and we're going to undo these four right here. There's one, here's two, here is three, and here is four. And as you can tell, they're both different sizes, so remember where they came from, okay? Okay, so then there's this little piece of tape right there that you have to undo. And then we're going to undo this piece of tape, and we're going to pull on this up. There you go. This is a little tight here, but there is a connector right here that we have to pull out. This is like, it looks like the main harness of everything, which is right here. Oh, there we go. That was tough. Wow. Also bashed my hand. Now there's this thing right here. There's a connector right here. We're going to undo it like so. Pull down. There's like a little lip as well as back here too that you can hold like this, and it's like a lever. And then the same thing applies to here, that you have to hold this thing and you can pull, and there is the power supply, and it's all its glory. That is very dusty, and I am going to be cleaning. This is the Wi-Fi card. We are going to be using a T6 to unscrew it from here, this little bolt here. Unscrew this right here, like so. This is very, very tiny, so make sure you place it somewhere that you know where it is. You lift up a little bit and just pull towards away from you, and you can just lay this to the side. What you also can do is just place the screw back so you won't lose it. We are ready to lift this up and out, but there are about four-ish, I think 4 wires behind this motherboard. So we're gonna pull towards me or towards yourself this way. Just watch out for everything. Make sure nothing follows and breaks or nothing. Make sure everything is very smooth. That was this piece. And let's move these wires away. And I can already see that there are tons of wires on this and tons of dust. Upwards. Okay. It's pulled up. And there's tons of dust. Wow. So this is a perfect opportunity to take pictures of everything you see here. So as you can see, there is all these wires here. It's hard to focus, but it's super dusty and all these wires, and that's why I say you have to take pictures. There are some things that you don't have to unplug, just anything that's coming off of the chassis over here. The rest can just stay. So I just took my pictures, and as I said, just take anything off that is coming off of the chassis. So basically this wire here, this wire, and this wire. This wire, these two actually, like they're two connected. Seems like it can stay. I'm looking at everything else. Doesn't look like it doesn't have to be taken off. So it's just two things that we really have to unplug. So we'll do this one right here. Like so. Remember this tab right here, pull down on this and pull. It's gonna be awkward. There you go. That just released a little bit more tension. There are 4 wires. So these two here, this looks like SATA and something else here. So we can pull on this power cord here, or the SATA, like so. And then finally, we use our fingernails to pry on this thing a little bit. Be careful. Don't want to break anything. And then this thing is free. This is the motherboard. I've never thought in a million years I would ever be doing this, but let's clean up a little bit and we're going to replace the CPU. Okay, y'all, so we are basically there with replacing the CPU. There is a significant difference between these two heat sinks right here. This is the GPU, this is the CPU, and the best part is that warranty void if removed. You can tell this has not been tampered with at all. And I'm not worried about the warranty because of this being a mid-2011. They discontinued this model in 2012. Well, how we're going to replace it is that we're going to flip this over. And to mention that I did take off this IR sensor, I guess it is. So now we're going to grab our T9. Remember, T9, the T10 won't fit these screws here. We're going to grab our T9 bit and we're going to unscrew all 4 of these. There's 1, here's 2, here is 3, and we're going to void the warranty. Pull this sticker out, and of course it's going to tear apart because we voided it. And number 4. There's 4 screws there. Now we're going to come over here and be very careful. Come over here, and then there's this bit right there. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to unscrew this, and this entire assembly will pop right out. There it is. This is very small, so just be careful. And then we're going to lift straight up, and remember to remove this CPU sticker right here, this connector. So when you remove the tape from the CPU area, or from motherboard, and we're going to use our fingernails and we're going to pry this open. We'll give it just a tiny wiggle. It's coming out ever so slightly. It's hard. There you go. And this is the temperature sensor right here because it says CPU temp right there. This is sticky tape. So we're going to pull this straight up and voila. There it is. We did get thermal paste. You have to clean both contacts. Don't grab anything aggressive or anything. You don't want to ruin this heat sink here. Make it aggressive or anything. And the best part about thermal paste is that it does not expire and it does not get old. That's the best part. So I know that CPUs, and this tab right here, is very hard. So you do have to sort of manipulate it. And don't be scared to put a little bit of force into it. It's made to go hard like that. So what we are going to do is that we're going to pull down. Be careful because this might come back at you. So pull down and pull that way and slowly release it. And as you can see, everything from here was pushed this way and it shifted that way. Pull this way and there is the CPU in all its glory. So now we're going to carefully pull this out, and the CPU is right here. OEM CPU. So we're gonna grab our thermal paste, and I believe this comes with like a applicator or some kind of something like that. So we're gonna undo this hey, basic unboxing, right? And we're gonna open this box up. By the way, this is my very first time ever doing something like this. I'm just saying. Okay, so here is the thermal paste. So this thing does not come with an applicator. I thought it would, but it doesn't. I'm looking in the box and I don't see any type of applicator or any type of thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up. So after a little bit of cleaning, we got the Intel Core i5-2500S, that's pretty cool, I didn't know that, cleaned along with the heatsink as well. And the best part is that you can actually use 70% isopropyl alcohol, which is really cool and made the cleanup really easy instead of using this thing and maybe possibly staining your hands. So now we're going to open up this thing here, which is the i7-2600S, but we're going to place the i5, and I'm going to make sure Intel Core i5-2500S in here so that I'm not going to screw anything up here. Now here is the very, very important part on a CPU and a motherboard that you cannot screw up. There is stuff back here, right here, that is super sensitive to what is on everything on here. And there is a specific direction where you place it. As you can see on this very tip corner, there is a triangle, sort of like an arrow. And then on the opposite side, there's a bigger triangle. And on the motherboard somewhere, there should be a triangle somewhere. It's not these, but if you look right over here, where my finger is, there is another triangle there. So the CPU goes like this, facing where the triangle goes. Metal pieces are very sensitive. So basically, place it in, give it just a tiny wiggle to let it sit, and it's set. Don't press it, and I repeat, do not press on it. We are going to close this, and there's a little bit of stuff on there, but that's fine. And we're going to basically try to line this up with this screw here. It cannot be above it like this. You don't want it because it won't close. Pull it back and make sure it goes under this screw here. There's like a little tiny path where this can sit. We're gonna go like this and see how these two tabs right here go under that screw. This is where you have to put a little bit of force to make this piece right here go under this piece right here, because there's this little hook right there. If you can see, there's this hook right here that matches this right here, and it goes under it. So match it up, and we have to press decently hard because that's how it's supposed to be. And that's it. And also right on here, I just realized there is an arrow here, there's an arrow on the CPU, and then there's an arrow on the motherboard itself. So this is a type of paste that, like a tip that you can just easily screw in like this. You know, screw out, you don't have to pull or anything. Now, according to this socket, it says CPU size, small, medium, and big, and then there is certain types of sockets, LGA, 20XXX, or whatever. I have this right here, the very top, so it's one dot with 3 to 4 millimeter diameter. Now, I don't know how big this is, but it says you just have to do a dot. You do not need a lot of thermal paste at all, because just the amount of pressure and everything on this, it will spread it out evenly. And of course, you don't want to make a huge mess seeping all over the sides here. So we're going to grab this thermal paste, put it right in the center here, and I did make sure this was clean. I used isopropyl alcohol and a cotton swab, and I cleaned it. And we're going to place one right in the center. So bye-bye CPU. So I'm just going to make sure Intel Core i7-2600S. So bye CPU. We're going to place some right here, like a dot. That's it. That's all you need. That's a little bit big, but that's all you need, really. We're going to grab this, and of course it's clean, as you can see. I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to line it up with this too. So you see, this is where it goes. This is how it goes right here. And we're going to use these 4 screws here, 3, 4, and then this tiny one goes right here that connects to this one right there. So we're going to do that right now. And make sure that you try to place this as even as possible, because you don't want to like move it all around and smear this thing all over the place. So just try to make sure this is as flat and even as you can place it down. Now everything is even right now. I'm holding it right now, but we have to grab these screws here and do it in a crisscross pattern to make everything sit even. So we're gonna flip this over. So we're gonna actually start it by hand, the easiest way. That's started, and we're gonna use this and just start it. And we're gonna actually do it in a crisscross pattern. So just start it and don't fully seat it. You just have to let it hold itself, right? There's that one, there's that one. Okay, so those are set right now, and if I let go, they're set, but they're not totally fastened in. I want to get this screw in so that everything is held together, that I won't worry about it all falling apart. So we're gonna place this on the screw right here. And then voila, that's screwed in. Now, I'm not gonna worry about holding this anymore, and we're going to do in a crisscross star pattern. A star is like for a tire or on a car, but to set this even, you do cross. So that one is tight, there it goes. This one's tight, this one is tight. Now we're gonna double check this one, see if this one's tight, and I know it is. And then going to flip it over. We're gonna place the CPU temp sensor in here, like so, like that. That's in. Set the tape up again, like so. Doesn't have to be really precise, but as long as it's in its general area, you're good. And that's it, y'all. CPU is installed. So now I'm gonna do a complete put back together, and it's gonna be all time lapse. I'm not gonna really bother showing you how to place everything together. You're basically just doing everything in reverse, and make sure you use the photos that you took to remember where everything is. I don't have photographic memory. If you do, you're very special and awesome, but I don't, and pictures is like a second photographic memory. So let's place everything back together and test it out. Guys, we did it. We finally did it. But here's the real test. We have to plug everything in and check if it works. Alrighty, y'all. everything is plugged in. I am nervous, so nervous, because I don't want to see any puff of smoke or anything of the sort. And of course, I'm not going to be cutting this part because I want to show y'all it actually works. I hope it does. And before I start turning everything on, this is my very, very first going in depth with this Mac or any type of computer. I have never dove so deep into a computer like this before with replacing the CPU or anything like that. The only thing I have really done is install a hard drive and RAM. I've never done the CPU. So yeah, I will be stuttering throughout this because I just want to prove to y'all that this is not fake or anything, because the video I did that I saw and followed, the guy never turned on the Mac. He just put it together like this right now. But right now, I'm going to turn it on, and the power button, like the main power to turn everything on here, is down here. It's called Master. I'm going to turn that on. You hear a click, and these things will turn on, and my monitor will turn on. There's a click. This turns on, my monitor turns on. I am nervous, my heart's pounding. But honestly, there was only one way to find out. Here we go. I don't think it's working, guys. No sound. You see there is power through this thing, but no sound, no CD drive, because it makes like a and then the infamous Apple logo comes on. Dang, dude, did I just screw up my Mac? So I'll come back to y'all to see if I can figure this out. I don't want to go through this. This already has been a long video, but I don't know what I did wrong. Okay, y'all, so it is nighttime, as you can see, and I did find one thing, and if this does work, then I will show you what it was. If it doesn't, I have no idea. The power is connected. I'm going to plug in one of these hubs for it to light up so that I can tell that it has power. Okay. The LCD is not even held in because I just don't want to go through that unscrewing, screwing phase again. Let's see. We have, yes! We have light! Oh my god. Okay, I'll explain in a minute. Hold on. So, as you can see, it works. I am, like, thank God, because when it did not turn on, I was like, oh my god. And what ended up happening was this picture right here, basically that connector on the left, the plastic piece on the left broke off. I couldn't find the piece at all anywhere. I looked everywhere, I looked inside the computer, I didn't find it anywhere. And when I pulled the connector out, one of the metal pieces were bent like this, facing that way. So I might have placed it in wrong and like pushed it in and it bent and broke, and I didn't know it until I placed it all back together. And what I did was I fixed it with tweezers, and I slowly bent it back to where it originally is, and I placed that connector last. Out of the 4 there, I placed that connector last. Made sure it sat in well and placed everything back together, and this was the result. I want to thank my dad because he was the one that told me that everything was going to be fine. You just have to straighten the connector up and just do it last, so that you're not moving it around, and you should just place it in. And this was his idea to fix that connector, so thanks, Dad. So right now I'm going to pull up OBS right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to screen record and pull up my specs so that y'all can see in real time, because I just don't want to cut often, and I'm going to sync everything here. So I'm going to press record. Okay, it is recording. Sync. I look stupid doing this, but now it's synced. And of course, when I do About This Mac, my serial number is going to be there. I'm going to blur it out in post, and of course, yeah, I'm going to blur it out in post. Nobody needs to see that. So About This Mac, and we got 2.8 gigahertz Intel Core i7 with 32 gigs of memory or RAM. Have you subscribed yet? If not, what are you doing? You should. When you subscribe, there's something called a notification bell, and when you press that, you will get notified whenever I upload a video like this or any type of video. I also have a vlogging and gaming channel. The links will be in the description box below, and you can check it out at the last 20 seconds of this video. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, it was long, but honestly, I just wanted to keep this really real for you, to show that anything can happen and will happen. And of course, I'm not an expert on this, and of course I made a mistake, and it is fixed thanks to my dad, because he gave me the idea. I was stress sweating, and I was very nervous. My hands were shaking like this, that bad. And finally, you know my expression when it turned on, because I heard of the optical drive. So, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna wait a few months, and I'm gonna do like, what is it like with the i5 and the i7? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a comparison between the two, because majority of the time I'm video editing, but also I'm doing schoolwork, see how quickly, snappy things is. So we're gonna see, and I'm very excited. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and this is the Techman.
You know